what's up, everyone? My name is Jonnea. I'm having a tough week because I don't know if you know, but Black History Month is over. Sad, sad. You know, I was having this gimmick at shows where I would say I have a magic trick, and I ask white people to give me $1, and I just put it in my pocket. The last time I did that, it was a woman in the front row, and I did it, and she didn't laugh for the rest of the show. But I got $2, so that was on her, I think. But I will have to admit, I am Puerto Rican, so the month is only half for me. Anybody else Puerto Rican? Oh, okay, ish. What? Okay, great. Okay, mi gente in the building. That's great. Being Puerto Rican is actually very cool right now because of Bad Bunny. Thank God. You know, because like J-Lo was kind of bringing the stock down. You know what I'm saying? And I do have a soft spot for J-Lo because she does remind me of my mom. If my mom had too much money, right? Is anyone here mixed as well? Oh, okay, good. We'll start a group chat, you know? It's funny, you know, usually I try to ask people like what they are mixed with, but I've started, I feel like getting in trouble because I'm not thinking clearly, right? Like somebody said, oh, I'm half white, half Native American. And I go, oh, classic. What? That was not a good look. So I'm not even going to ask, but I can see my people are in the crowd. But no, the Bad Bunny Super Bowl, really great, very cool. And I was talking about it at a show, and these 3 white people came up to me and started asking me about the politics of Bad Bunny performing at the Super Bowl. You know, kind of like, you know, the capitalistic means, like, what do you think, da-da-da. And I'm like, what, he's a, you know, musician, what do you want him to do? Shoot everyone? Like, you know? And so I thought it was all fun and games, but it was like a serious conversation. And, you know, I realized, like, you know, you ever hate when people are trying to out-woke you? Right? And you know, I've been trying to think of a term for this. So you have like, you know, a devil's advocate. I'm thinking of this as an angel's accountant. Somehow they're doing all this goddamn math. And isn't it crazy? Social workers. People in the crowd. It's all right. I know y'all doing math right now. Shut up. Okay? But if you're trying to figure out if I am a hairy lesbian or pretty boy, the answer is yes. It's true. I'm also identified as a baby face, right? But no, when it comes to my pronouns, I use she, her, he, him, no they, because I say so. Those are the rules. Sometimes people get real tight about that, especially those who do use they them pronouns. You know, I was meeting someone, they go, hi, my name's Chainlink. I go, okay. Chainlink goes, my pronouns are they, them. I was like, duh. So I go, oh, hello, Chainlink. My name is Jonnea. I use she, her, he, him. And Chainlink goes, oof, that's complicated. It's like, your outfit's complicated. Fuck you, you know? Why would you do that? But no, and you know, it's true. I do identify as both a man and a woman because I'm mixed, right? Like I said. But no, really, I'm trying to diversify my options, okay? Stay ahead of the market. And sometimes people don't think I identify as a woman, but rest assured I do, because dogs still eat my underwear. What is that about? Nasty. Other times, though, is that when straight men talk to me, I immediately lie because I'm scared, right? And I forget what I look like now. So this straight man asked me what my name was. Normal question. I got scared and said Beverly. I said that shit mad deep. Beverly? What? Like that, it was confusing. It was confusing all of us, right? But no, the type of trans I am, if you're wondering, I take testosterone, which means I'm approaching masculinity, but not in a rush, okay? It's dangerous for me. One time I got too cocky and bought 3-in-1 shampoo. Yeah, can't just be me, right? I thought I was like maximizing efficiency. No, just never been more ashy in my life. It's disgusting. But oftentimes I like to play in the in-between because it allows me to have options, right? So for example, I was on the Greyhound bus a few years ago and it broke down on the side of the road. And so I started getting real manly. getting upset. And I stood up. I was like, what the fuck's going on this bus, I make eye contact with another man. I'm like, we're gonna figure this shit out together. And so we start talking, like men do. We're saying things like maybe the engine's too hot or the coolant is leaking. Yeah, see, it doesn't sound believable, does it? And so, that's what I was doing. I was just trying to keep up. And what happened next is that the bus driver came back onto the bus and was like, women and children first. And I go, oh, well, I guess that's me, okay? First and foremost, I identify as a damsel in distress. I need to be rescued. And which is where I would like to, this is part of the show where I would like to pitch to taking the term, short king. I want to change it to petite prince. Okay? Because king implies decisions, responsibilities. I need help. I am ashy and afraid. As I can tell, the LGBTQs are here in the building. Happy to see y'all. And I try to support my community, and by that I try to buy drugs from y'all. One time I was buying ketamine from this trans girl, and I realized that's where it comes from. Did you know that? It comes with the estrogen. And that did make me reflect and think that, I think every part of the rainbow has their job, right? I think lesbians have IPA. Lots of options. I think bisexuals have cocaine. I think that's why they're talking so much. And I feel like gay men have done enough. Not the clap break for the gay men. They're not even here to defend themselves. That is not nice. That is not nice, lesbians. But I do feel like trans boys like me, we have Lana Del Rey at home. And now, if you don't understand that joke, I have met quite a few trans man types who love Lana Del Rey. And I love her too. And I went through very much like a high school Tumblr situation, right? And I was thinking like, what do I and Lana Del Rey have anything in common? And I realized, this is a woman from upstate New York, right? She pretended to be from California. She also pretended to be indigenous and Mexican. And I thought, yeah, that is just like me, a girl who's also confused. Y'all seem really lovely. I want to share something with y'all. A few years ago, my grandmother passed away. It was very sad. But the way I found out was that my aunt texted me and was like, hey, Johnny, I just want you to know, your grandmother's finally transitioned. And all I could think of was, okay, Grandpa, fuck it up, That's beautiful for him. I love that. No, my grandma, she was a good old person. She was a good old person. I feel like old people nowadays are running amok, And I think about like how, we have like cyberbullying today. Back in the day, they used to send hate mail. You ever been so mad you bought a stamp? So angry, you have to go consult a government agency. You have to go to the post office, realize it's closed for 3 to 4 business days. Now you gotta stay mad for that long. And I was thinking like, there must have been one person who was like licking the envelope of hate mail and got like, a paper cut on their tongue. I would want to kill myself after that, Just how angry can you be? And I do think also like old people are running amok. Like, for example, I have coworkers. Yeah. And so, it's a full stop. No. I have coworkers who are, up there, and they start asking me transgender questions, They have a little bit of wine, and they're like, Jonnea, can I ask you something? And so this one woman, she asked me, she goes, so, like, are you, like, done? And I go, oh, huh. I've been on these hormones for like 6-7 years now, and this is it. This is about it, what's gonna happen. And she goes, oh. I was like, damn, I also wish I had more of a mustache by now, but okay. Didn't have to do all that. But like I said, people got jobs here. Yeah. Wow, that was a weary answer. Sorry, that was such a sore topic for everyone. I won't even ask if you like it, because I don't think you do. And I have a job, I have one of those, and I don't like it. I'm a graphic designer, which sounds cool, but it's not. It's not. I'm getting into arguments with a man named Josh, right? Because the shade of the PowerPoint is the wrong color red. And so then, I go, oh, Josh, what if I shot myself and we looked at the blood on the floor? Do we like that red? No one likes that energy in the Slack group, okay? No, the job is like very funny. Like some of these, there's these white girls on the team call me John Slay. It's like an HR violation. It's not very good. No, my first job out of college, actually, I was working at a nonprofit. Yay. And I was, it's crazy, nonprofits, hoarding profits. I worked at a nonprofit, and it was the year 2020, so, it was dangerous for me, because white guilt was at an all-time high, right? And they started doing DEI trainings. Now, look, I know Republicans hate DEI, but I promise you, I hated it first. Because they're just talking about me, right? How's Jonnea doing? People are sending me emails being like, hey, Jonnea, how are you doing this time? And I'm like, I'm going to protest and stuff. No follow-up. Like, damn, not even like $15? No lunch or something? But no, they came out, they're having all these DEI trainings, and they came up with one of the initiatives. One of the initiatives they thought was to make Juneteenth into a service holiday, okay? Which would mean that it would require us to volunteer, which is called working for free. And I feel like that's not the type of holiday we need to reenact. That's crazy. So now I work for this tech company, so I do want to kill myself. And I will say the best part of the company is that I get to work from home, and that's very nice. And because of that, I like to abuse company time. And so a few weeks ago, I got pretty bored and went to see Shen Yun. Yeah. I had questions, I needed answers. You ever been so bored you're like, damn, what is China like before communism? And look, I went. Tuesday, sold out show. And I'm running to the Lincoln Center, of course. And I get there and I see one other black person. And we look at each other like, whoa, what are you doing here? It's like, brother, you're supposed to be at work. And no, I saw the show, and here's the thing. I made it a bit of my personality by telling everyone, like, oh yeah, I went and saw Shen Yun. And I don't know if you know, but Shen Yun is not good. No, they are not good. It's a bit of a cult. There's some abuse of the dancers, It's definitely weirdly racial and homophobic and all of these sorts of things. But it was too late. I told everyone my Instagram story. See, now I get all these DMs like, New York Times, expose. Makes me start feeling Republican, like, damn, you can't even enjoy Shen Yun anymore? Let's see, y'all have been a lovely crowd. I'm trying to think of one more thing to tell you guys. I'll just tell you guys a thought I've had. I went to a drag show recently, and I love drag. I think it's like incredible and so impressive. And and I was thinking like, damn, I wish I could do something like that, But then I thought, I'm not going to dress up, and I'm not going to like put makeup on. Like I can't do all that, and the performance, it's crazy. And I realized I wish there was something I could do that's like it. And I was inventing karaoke. You ever think about that? Karaoke? Accessible drag. Alright, I'll leave y'all with that. Y'all have been incredible. Thank you again for coming. I'm Jonnea. Give it up for your host.